can use any plastic. You just want plastic that doesn't have holes in it, because the idea behind the plastic in this process is to maintain the moisture around the cutting that we're making. So we're going to be air layering today, which means that we're going to be girdling the stem along one of the branches of a woody plant. So this is a plant that's hard to root by just regular methods, like seed propagation isn't really accessible at this time, and then also vegetative propagation, so taking cuttings is a typical propagation technique we'll use here. And these particular species are valuable in our collection. We want to maintain them, and so we want to asexually propagate them, meaning we want to maintain their current genetics and the current genetic features that entails. So the particular flowering structures, the morphological features that are interesting about these particular specimens we want to keep. So this is another technique that we use to propagate called air layering, and we basically peel back the epidermis of the plant, which is the bark or the corky bark. These particular specimens have more of a corky bark, and so it's woodier. We'll peel that back with a sharp grafting knife, and then we will use different hormone treatments, natural plant hormones, and we're going to be using the 3 different types to kind of trial to see which of the 3 will perform the best, and then we will just check up on these girdled cuttings and see if any of them root, and then we can chop off that entire girdled section and it'll be a new plant. So that's exciting. And so I'm gonna be labeling each of the treatments, the different hormone treatments, so that way we can keep track of which of the 3 treatments will perform the best, and then go from there. So the other step in this process is preparing some tinfoil segments, so that way it keeps the light out of the cutting and it helps contain the cut end. So today we're going to be working on our Delonics and our Tababuya trees, which are along Orange Avenue. Yeah, these don't have to be perfect, obviously. They're going to be wrapped up in a little ball anyway. There we go. Okay, so we've got all of our tinfoil, all of our plastic. We've got some of the plastic coated wire. This will help us cinch both ends of this tinfoil after we've wrapped it in the media, so the growing media, which is this sphagnum moss. So we'll wrap this around the cut end of the girdled stem, and then we will wrap the plastic sheet around to hold on this sphagnum moss, and then we'll wrap in tinfoil. That'll help kind of give some structure, and then lastly we'll put these rubber twist ties to help just hold everything in place. And I've actually color coded the treatments. So one treatment will be green, one treatment will be orange, and then the last treatment will be blue, so that way I can keep track of the different hormone levels that we're using to promote the rooting. All right, and this is my grafting knife. We talked about the grafting knife. It's a very sharp knife, and I actually just sharpened it today to make sure it's extra sharp, and I also am going to sterilize it between each of my treatments, so that way I can help keep a clean cut for each particular preparation. Cleaning off the debris. I'm just gonna get some 70% alcohol. Just have a clean cut. never know. Gonna find the right branch. So we're looking for a healthy branch, and one that is from older growth, not the fresh new growth of the tree, but growth from last year. And so that way we can do our air layer. We're also looking for several different sections of the tree. We don't want to do all the air layers from one branch. We're planning to do 3 air layers today, and so we want to do it from different sections of the tree, so we're not stressing out one single branch. We're gonna kind of wound it in different places of the plant. Okay, so I'm gonna go up now. We're gonna do somewhere right here. So first I'm gonna do a cut around. Cross section between the 2 cuts, and then we just want to peel the bark until we get to that cambium layer. Okay. So now we have a section of the bark peeled off, and we're gonna treat that wound with rooting hormone. And so we have 3 different rooting hormones with different concentrations of auxins. And so this is a liquid hormone that we've actually soaked in the media that we're wrapping around the cut end. So this is sphagnum moss here, and we actually have a liquid IBA or auxin that we've treated and soaked into the sphagnum here. And so I'm just gonna wrap this around the cut end, the section that we've taken a cross section of the bark off, and then I'll wrap that in plastic. We'll wrap it in plastic, which I prepared some cross sections here of plastic, and then we'll wrap that in tin foil. Okay, so I'm gonna go back up with this. Okay, so you wanna get all the excess water off of the sphagnum moss. You don't want it to be sopping wet, because that can promote fungal issues on your wound. So I'm just dripping that back into our reservoir here. And so I'm going to wrap that with wrap that with plastic. And you want to make sure that this is really tight so that the moisture can't leave from the cinched ends. I'm just kind of tucking it around and kind of squeezing any excess moisture out.
What if I had no radio?
Oh. So this helps hold the form, and it also blocks out the UV rays. So you want to make sure that's nice and snug around the sphagnum moss. And then now I'll get some zip ties, and I've color coded the zip ties so that way I can know which hormone level I've treated each of the air layers with. Okay, so these are our plastic coated zip ties, and we have color coded them blue, green, and orange, so that way we can know which treatment has belongs to each of the particular air layers. And so these are just going to be cinched around each end to hold in the moisture and just to seal the two ends from any rain events or just inclement weather. So that's what the zip ties will be used for.